Fallout: The Frontier is a new giant DLC-sized mod that is more the size of an entirely new game, content-wise, with a new land to explore and drive across, and space, set in a harsh winter environment. And here is everything you need to know, including some tips before you start. This particular mod is for Fallout New Vegas, and after 7 years of development, it's set to release in just 3 days. Now, to give you an idea of the size of this mod and how big the game world is, it's 64 by 64 cells, which is actually the same size as Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 3. So to call it a DLC is really an understatement. And guys, please do drop a like to support the developers and get the word out there. This is 7 years of work. We will of course be doing a full playthrough here on the channel, so if you subscribe with the bell for that, that's the best way to stay notified. I'm also going to be interviewing the original creator of the Elder Scrolls as well, if you guys want to stay up to date for that video. So Fallout: The Frontier takes place on a snowy frontier of Portland, Oregon, a contrast to the Mojave Desert where Fallout New Vegas takes place. Caesar's Legion and the New California Exiles fight for dominion over a city rich in resources and military hardware, but something lies in wait under the snowy ruins. The Fallout mod features new gameplay mechanics like drivable vehicles that actually look like they have realistic handling. I've honestly never seen such convincing driving mechanics in any Bethesda game ever. You're also going to come up against enemies with their own wasteland vehicles and enemy creatures, which is why your car is armed with a machine gun. There will be new scripting and visual effects and high quality voice acting across the mod, dozens of side quests and hundreds of new exciting characters to meet. But what about the main quest itself? What are we going to be doing in this new world? Well, Fallout: The Frontier features 3 distinct main quest lines, each totaling up to 15 plus hours of gameplay each, with the NCR quest being the longest at 35 hours. While the New California Republic questline will take you on a linear, action-packed adventure with in-game cutscenes and state-of-the-art scripting and complex dialogue topics. While the Northern Legion questline is a dialogue-heavy adventure. The mod actually has, in total, over 27,000 lines of voice dialogue. Then finally, the new Brotherhood of Steel spin-off faction, the Crusaders of Steel, is a mix of both dialogue and action. There's no doubt that Fallout New Vegas is an old game, but just from the trailer footage alone, you can see it's been pushed to the absolute limits to show us what is really truly possible. Just like in Fallout New Vegas, you can also join opposing factions like the NCR, Caesar's Legion, or the Brotherhood of Steel. And who you fight for and who you do quests for is obviously going to change the outcome of the story, which is, in my opinion, already pretty impressive from a fan-made mod. Aside from the main quest though, there's also a huge variety of side content, from over 50 side quests and also completely unmarked quests. There's plenty of new armor, items and weaponry that has already been showcased by the mod team, but you have a ton of time to spend looting and enjoying that new gear. To be exact though, there are over 150 new weapons that also feature state-of-the-art VFX sound effects, from the sci-fi impact of energy weapons to the blood-splattering sound of ballistic fire. Now, the environment of Fallout: The Frontier is a true nuclear winter. It very much reminds me of Wasteland 3. Snow, rain, mist and fog really gives you a new immersive environment to explore as you venture through the city's landmarks and ruins. The modding team state that they have pushed the Gamebryo engine to the absolute limit to create these unique weather effects, and wow, they do look good. But before you start your own Frontier journey, here are my recommendations. Since this is a fan-made mod, you will need the original Fallout New Vegas game and its official DLC to play it, which you can buy for around $10 in total these days. If you don't already own it, just grab the Game of the Year edition, because that comes with all the DLC inside it. You'll also be able to take your current character into the Frontier mod. However, the team does recommend that you use a new save file to minimize any errors that you might have from like previous installed mods or a character with like 300 hours invested into it. The team also recommend that you have a level of 20 plus before starting the quest mod. Now, before we go any further, I want to read to you guys the extracts of all the free faction backstories, so you yourself have an idea of the situation of each faction as you go into this new DLC size story. Starting out with the NCR faction's backstory. The NCR is ready to crumble under the Legion's onslaught. Some realize drastic measures must be taken to ensure their survival. General Blackthorn is one of them, and knows things have to change. He begged President Kimball to employ harsher strategies to crush the Legion front line, but Kimball was unwilling to listen. Displeased with the NCR's brassous, lackadaisical approach, Blackthorn called them out, first privately and then publicly. Concern over the impending Legion assault soon grew into panic and spread like wildfire. Held captive by their fear, the public majority cried out in support of Blackthorn and his proposals. Spurred on by widespread popularity, the general seized his moment and called for Kimball's resignation. Feeling pressured, Kimball took the coward's way out and sent Blackthorn and his ilk into exile, north to the harsh frozen wasteland known only as the Frontier. Out of sight, out of mind, Blackthorn struggled against not only the Frontier, but also the restless Legion attacks. Many of Blackthorn's men succumbed to extreme conditions. Blackthorn himself refused to bend to Mother Nature and vowed to prevail against all odds. Then returned to the Mojave to restore order. Fueled by sheer determination and discipline, Blackthorn rebuilt his army. Intel has been spotty. Blackthorn was surprised to learn a sizable Legion force would exist so far from the Mojave, but Legion is Legion. The Frontier was loaded with pre-war technology and military equipment. His aim is to destroy the Legion, uncover and claim the Frontier's secrets, and finally start the long journey back to the Mojave to take what is rightfully his. Next we have what they are now known as the Crusaders. The Crusaders were formed by a Brotherhood of Steel paladin, Tasha Weaver, who was left for dead at Helios 1. She and several other Brotherhood refugees met up at the New Canaan to live out a peaceful existence. The destruction of New Canaan was the crucible in which the Crusaders were born. Returning from a missionary trip, Weaver beheld the destruction of all she had come to love. Possessed with fury, Weaver repaired and repainted her power armor, gritted her teeth, and added a new symbol to her armor, a blood-red symbol that merged the Crusader cross with the Brotherhood of Steel insignia. Standing back, she believed God had a new mission for her. To reclaim the Holy Lands, to rebuild the old cities like had been done with New Canaan and Jerusalem. The Brotherhood of Steel was correct in their collection of old world technology, but wrong in their worship. The tech should be used to reclaim the cities from the wasteland trash and establish new Mormon cities like Canaan. Brotherhood and Mormonism philosophies battled in her mind, congealing into a strange new religion. Driven by her charisma and indignation, Weaver and her fellow missionaries formed the Crusaders and declared a holy war against what she perceived the enemies of rebuilding humanity, the enemies of God, or the unworthy as she called them. Setting out to reclaim the Holy Land, she makes a detour with some of her knights to give Blackthorn some much-owned payback, a man she viewed as evil incarnate. And then we have the Northern Legion. Led by Legate Marcus Valerios, the Northern Legion started as a small expeditionary force sent to conquer the areas north of the NCR to prepare for a full invasion of California. They expected to face weak tribals and encountered Blackthorn's exiles instead. Taking advantage of the exiles' failures and atrocities, Valerius absorbed the long-suffering Snowblind and Bleeder tribes into his legion, growing it into a fighting force larger, if not stronger, than Lanius. Valeros hopes to use his success in the frontier to prove himself to Caesar and eventually be seen as an equal to Lanius. And obviously, we're also going to come across scavengers, prospectors, thieves, murderers, and deserters as well, including the worst kind, slavers. But which people you join and side with is completely up to you. And again, if you guys want to check out the full playthrough, it is linked down below, as well as the download link, because you can actually grab this particular mod from Steam as well. But thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you give the video a share and a like to help spread the message of this new DLC size mod that has been 7 years in the making. And I hope you guys enjoy it.